Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to our webinar for this morning. It is number 7 in our POPIA compliance webinar series. And today is all about the 8 conditions of compliance part 1. So we'll be dealing with the first 4 compliance conditions today. And for that, we have our guest presenters on standby. Right, as you can see on the screen, my name is Lettie Janse van Vuuren, and I'm facilitating the webinar today. Your presentation will be handled by our 2 experts from Montana Data Company. Just a little bit of blurb about myself. You'll see this is what I do as a chartered accountant. I do a lot of training and webinar hosting, and then I also am responsible for the monthly compliance and legislation updates at SAAA. So that helps us all to remain up to date with our CPD. And then also when I'm not busy doing webinars, I then do consulting to auditing and accounting practices on, well, whatever they need help on. Looking at what's on the agenda for today. On our agenda, we've got a quick little recap just to say where did we end with the previous webinar, because it is part of a series. And then we'll have the 4 modules that the presenters will take care of, just to confirm some of the very important aspects in POPIA, because you need to know about that and you need to be very comfortable with the terminology that is used by now. Module 2 deals with the 4 conditions of POPIA. Module 3, some of the common challenges that we are faced with. And Module 4, some of the compliance solutions that they are able to provide us with. All right. And then, as always, I always like to start with a little cartoon. The one at the bottom says, mine, mine, mine. And you've got the IRS and Google and the retailers and everybody fighting. And the one guy says to his friend, what gives? And the little man says, they're fighting over my personal information. Literally, your personal information is worth more than you know. All right. Ask anybody who's had their identity stolen or who has been part of a phishing scam or a victim to a phishing scam. At the top, you'll also see the cartoon there. I have a new hobby. It's called phishing. I send fake banking emails to gullible executives. Then I find out their financial information and use it to steal the money they don't deserve. And then there's a little banker that receives it, and it says, dear customer, this is your bank. We forgot your social security number and password. Why don't you send them to us so we can protect your money? And the little guy says, looks legit. Okay. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, it's not. Okay. So let's just quickly do a bit of a recap on where we ended off last time. Last webinar we had was at the end of January. I think it was on the 25th. And we did a quick recap just to focus on some of the requirements of POPIA, looking at the basics, and that's why I've included the basic summary for you again today. Also looking at what is personal information, what is processing of personal information, who are the role players, your compliance checklist that we dealt with, those 11 steps, protection and recovery of data, and then a couple of the specific industry considerations that we dealt with during our webinar in December. All right, that was just to make sure that we are up to speed as we cross the halfway mark with our webinar series. All right. So then for today's webinar, we will be dealing with the first 4 conditions of compliance to POPIA. They're called the compliance to lawfully process information, or they're just simply called the conditions of compliance to POPIA, or the POPIA conditions. Right, a lot of different names. Okay, so that's what the rest of the webinar will be spent on. And I'm now going to hand you over to Karabo and Stephanie from Montana Data Company, who will be facilitating the rest of the presentation. Right, so if I can just ask the 2 ladies to introduce themselves, and I'll be muting myself, but as always, I'll chip in whenever I've got something to say. Right, so I'm handing over to the 2 guest presenters. Please enjoy the presentation, ladies and gentlemen.
Everyone, I hope you can hear me loud and clear. My name is Karabo Letlaku. I'm from Montana Data Company, as Lettie has introduced us. Thank you so much, Lettie, for inviting us on this platform. Montana Data Company is a data governance company. We help our customers manage their data in terms of backups, finding secure storage, allowing you and your clients to share information in secure environments. And POPIA compliance and the understanding of the regulation is one of our service offerings. So during the webinars that we will be working and partnering with Lettie with, we will be touching on both the requirements of the Act and the solutions that are made available to you and your clients. The slide that we've got now is just a brief profile. It's very difficult to sing about yourself, so I hope you're comfortable to just read it. But my first interest with POPIA and data governance began in 2013 when the Act was a big discussion point when we thought it would be introduced by then. So I'll just move on to the next slide. The next slide, I've got my colleague with me, like I mentioned before. Her name is Stephanie Geldenaes. I'll just give her an opportunity to say hi, and then she'll join in the presentation later. So I'll lay out the Act, the 4 conditions, and Stephanie will go through the last 2 modules, which are the common challenges and some alternative solutions to compliance. Steph, can I just ask you to just say a quick hello?
Good morning, guys. Well, thank you for the opportunity to be part of this webinar, and I think we will join you in a few future ones as well. So, as Karabo said, we are not that fond to sing our praises. My profile is up for you to read. I've joined the ICT sector when I was a young lady in my early or my late 20s. And from there, I had the fortunate to learn about the ICT sector and everything associated with that. And as I progressed from one career to another, I just expanded on that. So when I joined the Montana Data Company last year, it offers me the opportunity to basically combine all my knowledge and experience that I have gained over the past 25, almost 30 years into something that I can offer our customers from a data governance perspective. So if you ever need assistance, we are just a phone call away, and you're welcome just to reach out to us. So I'm handing back to Karabo now. Enjoy the webinar, guys. Thank you.
For that, Stephanie. Thank you very much. Okay, let's kick off. So the first module, it's just to highlight the main principles of POPIA, the who and the what. And the reason we touch on this again is that there can be some confusion on what role you are expected to play and what is expected from you in terms of the role that you're playing. And in the financial services industry and the industry that you guys serve in, it can be a little bit confusing whether you're the responsible party or whether you are a processor. So I'll touch base on those as well. All right, so what is POPIA and who are the main key role players? I'll just skip through on that slide. POPIA is basically, in a nutshell, it regulates the processing of all personal information. I think if we can just grasp that, then you have the gist of what the Act is about. It regulates the processing of all personal information. So I've had a lot of clients that feel that it interferes with how they do their work. There's too many requirements in terms of getting consent. And hopefully, I would like to get us to a place where we realize that it's actually it isn't there for that purpose. Yes, it might have a little bit of an administrative lag in terms of what it introduces to your daily functions, but it is there both for your protection and for the protection of your customers. And I think if we start getting into the culture of constantly thinking of every piece of data that we touch as something confidential, then you'd be making headway in terms of meeting compliance. And who are the main players within the Act? So the the main and the VIP person is the data subject, and the data subject is whoever is the person or the juristic person that you are dealing with. So whose data are you handling? Is it Karabo's? Is it Lettie's? Is it SAAA's? That is the data subject.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.